Okay, so today we are going to learn how to build a quiz and then bank the questions from that quiz into a quiz bank. So as you can see, I've already selected the quizzes tab here, which takes me here. It's just going to reload it, and then I'm going to go ahead and add a new quiz. And just for the sake of this bank, I'm going to call this quiz illustration, just so that way I can keep my bank and this particular quiz straight. Okay, normally this would be where I would add the instructions. Since this is just an example, I'm just going to keep it simple like that. I can click here to add my questions. You can see I have the options. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add a new question. So right now I'm just adding the question to the quiz. I'm not adding the question to a bank yet. Okay, so I can do that here in just a minute. Okay, so because this is a multiple choice question, I'm just going to put MC, so that way it's maybe quickly identifiable that this is a multiple choice type of question. I'm just going to say how many yards are on a football field. Okay, and I'm going to go down here and make my choices. Correct answer would be 120 because it counts the end zones. We'll do 100. We'll do 90. And we'll do 150. Okay, and then I'm going to update my question. So you can see here's where the title of the question comes in handy. You can see that it's a multiple choice type of question because this is there. This is what I see. This is not necessarily what the students see. Okay, so now I've come in here and I've made a question, okay, and whatnot. And now I'm going to go and create a bank and come back to this question. Okay, so I'm going to come over here to my question banks. And actually, let me go back for just a second, show you how to create a question bank. So let me go out and finish this quiz real fast here as well, just so I can find it again. So we'll just leave all those things. Let me choose a date real fast. We'll just go with March 15th. Okay, and I'll just go save and publish. Okay, so now you can see I have a quiz called illustration. It has one question, it's a multiple choice question, and so on and so forth. Okay, so I'm going to click on this quizzes tab one more time. Okay, and it's going to bring up same place where I was. This would be where I'd add a new quiz. In this case, though, I'm going to click on these three snowman dots. So I'm going to go ahead and click there. It brings up this message called Manage Question Banks. I'm going to go ahead and click that. And this takes me to my question banks page. These are all question banks that I have existing in this class. For the purposes of this, I'm going to add one called illustration. Note on this, there is no save. If I scroll up and down, you'll see just a bunch of other question banks. There is no save. So after you type the name of the question here in this box, you're going to want to just hit enter, and now I've created a question bank. Notice that it has no questions. There's no questions at all here at this point. Okay. However, with that being said, when I create new questions, if I haven't banked them, they automatically go into this place here called unfiled questions. And notice I have actually two different banks of unfiled questions. Notice when this was last updated though. Okay, this was updated March 9th at 1:35 p.m. So my questions are banked whether I know it or not. They just may or may not be in the bank that I chose. Obviously, this was just a few minutes ago, so this is where my question ended up. So if I click on this thing called unfiled questions, okay, and I were to scroll down, okay, there it is right there, MC, how many yards are on a football field? Okay, and notice right here at the bottom of this question, I'm in a bank called unfiled questions. Now I can move or copy this question to another bank. So if I click on that link, notice it gives me that option. I'm going to put it in the illustration question bank, and I'm just going to move or copy that particular question. Okay, so if I go back right here, I can go back to question banks using my breadcrumb trail here at the top. I can click on illustration, and now I have that question inside of my question bank. Okay, I also have that question inside of my quiz. So if I click on quizzes and go back to that particular quiz, and I go back down here, You'll see my illustration quiz. I probably just scrolled right past it. Yes, I did. Okay, my illustration quiz. Okay, if I were to go to edit and go to questions, you'll see that MC question. I can add additional questions. I can edit this question if I choose, and whatnot. In any case, this question is now in a bank called illustration, and it is also in a quiz called illustration. So even though when you build a quiz, you may not bank the question, or you don't think you're banking the question, you are in a sense, because it's going to this place in legacy quizzes called unfiled questions. And then from there, you can move them into question banks that you might use for randomizing some questions into certain quizzes later, or things like that. Anyway, hopefully this was a useful tutorial for you on how to create a quiz question, and then shows kind of where that question goes into unfiled questions, and then how to create a bank and then move your question into a bank.